Awesome. What are you doing? You on a little drive?
A little bit. Honestly, I'm on the way home and I got stuck in traffic that was terrible. So I just pulled over at a gas station so we could do this real quick because I like people are getting out of their cars on the 95 right now. It's like there's something bad.
Oh, well, I appreciate you taking the time. As always, certainly during a very busy kind of time on the road, if you will.
No problem.
No worries. Right. So post fight, you fought at UFC 269, as we're aware. How have you been? How's the post life winding down been like from the fight?
It's been good. Been a lot of just having fun. Today was my first day back to actually training. So today's the first day that we're actually getting back into it, feeling all the bumps and bruises that I never felt all week long yet. But I'm feeling pretty good and feeling ready to get back.
Why would you go back so soon? Do you not like how you get people who are like, I'll maybe take a week or 2 weeks of a vacation? Why so soon?
I just do it when I want to. It's not like that's the thing for me right now. It's not like I'm on a training schedule. I have to be there at 8 a.m. I have to be there at this time. It's just today I was bored. I woke up and I was like, oh, I feel like going and doing some jiu-jitsu. So it's more my love for it at this point. It's just doing what I want and just for having fun with it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So how is it fighting in front of a crowd after so long? We know that your last crowd was in Fight Island, which feels like many, many years ago. How did it feel? How was the energy fighting in front of a crowd after so long?
I guess, I don't know. It kind of felt the same in a bit because there wasn't really too many fans in the arena when I was walking out. I was the first fight of the card. So it's definitely nice to have a crowd there. It's nice to have the support. And I feel like it's just a different vibe in the arena.
Did you feel a different vibe, like internally? Did you feel something good about it? Like, you know what, I'm kind of back. Albeit we know the audience is small, but was there a different type of energy just being back in the mix, not kind of fighting in the apex, but in a kind of wider area? Did you feel any benefits for that?
I don't think about it until after. Like after the win is when it's like you start noticing like, oh, I'm in this huge arena. Like this is absolutely insane. You see your name across all the boards and your face on the big screen, everything like that. But on the way out, like walking out, I feel like I'm tunnel vision, like just going to the cage. I want to get in there as quick as possible. I'm like, this last fight, her walkout song I felt took like 10 days. Like it took so long for her to walk out and she took so long to get in the cage. I'm like, I walk out there, I just have to take off my shirt, go in. Like we're ready to go at 100%. So it's like, I feel like it's just tunnel vision.
And do you feel better being able to, like, if you get your fight out the way first, does that give you an opportunity? Do you stay right till the end and watch every fight?
The UFC takes us straight back to the hotel after. But this time,
okay.
I actually did go back to the arena after that. So after a couple fights, I went back, had a shower, got ready, and came back to the arena. And I watched a handful of the fights, not all of them. I wasn't there for the main event or the co-main event, but I saw a handful of the higher prelims and then the lower main card.
Did you watch the Miranda Maverick fight?
I did not get a chance to watch that, unfortunately.
Have you had a chance to watch the highlights? There's been a lot of hype. We know that you and Miranda Maverick have got both history as competitors, but also alongside each other training. Now, there's been a lot of hype for Erin Blanchfield. Have you had a chance to watch any footage, get a bit of a kind of vibe about Erin Blanchfield and what she's bringing? There's a lot of hype.
Yeah, I've watched Erin since she was in Invicta. So it's like I've been watching her for a while, and I feel like she is impressive. It's definitely she's definitely going to be a threat in the division, an up and comer, and going to be one that I feel like I'll be sharing the cage with in the near future.
Awesome. So you got into your fight. You're fighting Priscilla Cachoeira, as we got to be aware of now. As you promised, as you kind of teased on social media, it was always about neck cuddles. You wanted to get back in there. You had a point to prove. What was the satisfaction like after having such a dominant performance?
I don't even feel like I fought. I feel like I didn't really get, like, I feel like you get that itch, like whenever you want to fight, you're like, oh, I got that. I didn't feel like I got to scratch that itch. I don't feel like I really got it out. So it's like, I feel like I'm just ready to get back in there again. Really, like, just keep this win streak going. Whether it's a win or a loss, I feel like I try not to dwell on it. Try not to think too much. Like, try not to celebrate too much and get caught in the moment of that. I'm just moving forward constantly, just looking for the next moment. So that's all I'm thinking about.
What did you think of Priscilla's kind of performance, like going into it? She's fought quite a lot of people that you're very familiar with as well. Did you rate her very highly going in, or did you feel somehow that you were going to pick it up and it was always going to be a case of going to the ground?
I knew that once we got to the ground, it was going to be 100% my world. Obviously, like she fought Molly McCann and she did a lot of damage to her eye. Her last two fights, she fought Shauna Dobson and Gina Manzai, and they both those fights were TKOs and knockouts. Like she obviously had a lot of power in her hands just watching the previous footage. So I was definitely very cautious about that going in, and I didn't really want to get caught. I think it was the first fight of the punch, my nose started bleeding. So I'm like, she definitely does have the power, but I knew I'd be able to get to the ground, and I knew that it would be my fight once we got there. So there really wasn't. I knew that it was going to be my fight. I was calling it finishing first or second round, and I was like just close to it. Almost made the second round mark. Got it 1 second left.
Yeah, within the closing seconds. Now, because she's fought Shevchenko in that before, did you feel any kind of connection just knowing that someone who's so dominant at the top, you've managed to chip away at someone and beat someone who's kind of fought that level of fighter? Did it feel any kind of different with that vibe?
The only thing I was thinking about related to Shevchenko with that is I was like, I want to finish her faster than Valentina did. I'm like, I just got to get in and out of there quicker than she did, and that's all that mattered to me.
I thought we got to see a lot more. We know that the fight was over quick, as we know. There was a bit of a kind of ground pound going on. We've seen a lot of ground and pound going on for yourself, a lot of anger and kind of fury going in. We got to see that in your preparation as well, in the garage as well. Did you feel good about your boxing? Was your boxing also on par on the performance?
I've honestly never felt so just comfortable everywhere in the cage. I feel like, a lot of times for me, it's been when I'm on the feet, I'm like, okay, I need to get it to the ground. We need to get it to the ground. But there was no, I didn't feel that need. Like I wasn't desperate to get it to the ground. Even if I did have a failed takedown attempt, I feel like I was able to come up with some strikes good and land some good punches off the break. So I felt more comfortable all around, like on everywhere. I just felt like it was my world in there.
You did. You looked very comfortable. It did look like the stars were aligned. Now, before that fight, we know that you had a couple of results that didn't go your way. Did you feel this was a must-win, or were you just kind of taking it as it comes on the day?
It was, for me, it was definitely a must win. Like, honestly, I've never felt so much pressure going into a fight. I deal with a lot of anxiety, and that whole, I woke up at 4 a.m. with anxiety, just my heart beating. I couldn't, all that morning, all that day, I felt absolutely terrible until the moment I was about to walk out. It's like, once my walkout song played, the anxiety went away 100%. But that whole day was absolute hell for me.
See, that's good. Like fighters, like yourself, you seem to cover it up very well. It doesn't look like you've nothing but kind of got tunnel vision going in there. There's never any type of doubt, anxiety, or anything. So it's nice to hear that type of thing. It's giving people a complete perspective of it. How's your eye doing?
It wasn't as bad as it looked, I don't think. My eye's pretty fine. The night that it happened, it was pretty, it was a little bit squinty and it was red, but that was about it. Now I feel like they're both fine, and it just looks a lot worse on TV.
Yeah, it looked pretty vicious, I must admit. But the thing is, I mean, from yourself being in that situation, there's been quite a lot of backlash, quite a lot of, wouldn't say hype, quite a lot of kind of controversy based on what happened. And did she do it intentionally? Did she not? Even Joe Rogan and everybody was throwing their kind of opinions across. How do you feel about it? Because I've got a feeling that you're probably, as a fighter, you've got a different vision from what everybody else had.
Yeah, I feel like as a fighter, there does have to be a certain level of accountability. Like you should. There's no reason you know where the eye is. You know what you're doing. You shouldn't. You should be more aware as a fighter. But I feel like I can't put her at fault, because I'm like, I don't think she was trying to do it to be aggressive, to be dirty. She was just doing it because she didn't know a rear naked choke defense. She was trying to save her life. But I feel like that's a very civilian approach, you know? So you'd expect that from someone who doesn't train, that's going to be the reaction, to just shove the finger in the eye. So I'm like, I feel like as a professional fighter, you expect more out of her, but I don't have hard feelings towards her because of it. I get just her reaction.
Yeah, I do feel it was very civilian-like as well. It's like if you're falling or something, you're going to try and grab onto the nearest thing to kind of stop yourself going down. So perhaps a little bit harsh treatment towards her, but lessons will be learned. We could say that there'll be lessons learned. Do you think she'll get cut?
I don't think so. I hope she doesn't, honestly. Like, I don't see why they would cut her for something just like that. And it's like, she's coming off of 2 knockout wins right before me. So I don't see why they would cut her. Well, I don't think they should cut her because of that.
And coming off 2 great knockout wins, because we've seen her performances and they were good performances, I think it adds to your stock and certainly helps with you moving forward that you were able to take care of her so good. So Priscilla was the past. Now we're moving on to the future. Now, you must be looking at the division thinking that it's perhaps one of the most underrated divisions. There's so many people jumping about. We've got Valentina, we've got the Miranda Mavericks, we've got Casey O'Neill, Macy Barber. What are you thinking about any of the fighters now, like Casey O'Neill? Have you had a chance to look at her, see what she's doing, look at the possibility of a fight in the future?
I'm sure that all these young girls were like, I've either fought them already and we're going to rematch in a couple of years, or I'm going to fight them soon enough. I'm expecting like Erin Blanchfield, Casey O'Neill, all these girls to be across from the cage for me, or like even Miranda and Macy. I expect a rematch like in a couple of years. I don't see any reason like why these girls won't be the top of the division, why all of us won't be.
Is there any that you, I mean, I suppose it might be a rematch. Is there any that you'd love to get that one back? Or I take it, as you've said, you're going to fight them all down the pecking order and stuff, but is there any that you would want as a kind of fighter to challenge yourself? Just more specifically.
Yeah, I feel like they're all tough matchups, really. Like they're, I think like those girls are the threats in the division, really. Like those are the ones you got to watch out for. They're the ones who are the up and comers, and they want it. And I think they're all really tough matchups. And even like the girls that both those girls, I'd rematch them any day. Like I would love to get that back. I'm a very prideful person, I feel like. So anything like that, I definitely want to get the rematch. So all of them. I don't have a specific one. Just whatever the UFC gives me, I'd be down for, and I'd sign the contract.
So you've been in the UFC for quite some time, and we know that they themselves, they're still very young in their UFC career now. The thing about me when it comes to putting people together, so we've got Miranda Maverick, Macy Barber, and then we've got Blanchfield and Miranda Maverick. Do you feel that perhaps putting these prospects together at such an early stage of their career, are you for that or against it? Because I think that sometimes you're kind of shooting, the UFC are shooting themselves in the foot sometimes instead of maybe building them up respectably. Do you see that? Do you see that kind of thing? Or do you think that that's just the way it's got to be?
Yeah, I don't think it's good for building the division. Like, just like Miranda's last 2 fights were Erin and Macy. I'm like, I fought Miranda and Macy, like all this young girls going against each other. And like I said, especially like me and Macy and Miranda are all going to fight each other again in like 2 or 3 years. So it's like, these are all going to be rematches in a couple of years. I feel like it was just way too early in our careers for us to really be fighting each other. So, I like you said, I feel like it's the UFC shooting themselves in the foot a little bit there. Like, I don't think it's good for the future of the division.
Yeah. How does it feel to be setting some more records for the division? Your name's getting thrown about in so many different ways now. That must feel good inside.
Oh yeah, it feels great. But like I said, I don't like to think on those things too much. I like to just keep on pushing forward. So I'm just trying to push those records. I don't want girls to catch up to me. So
early 2022 then, hopefully we'll maybe see you back.
Oh, hopefully. I'm hoping for February, March return would be really nice.
Yeah. And anybody been brought to your attention yet? Or again, is this just probably early maybe January, they're going to throw some names your way and we'll just go for there?
Literally, my coach usually says yes before I even get before he asks me. So he knows that I'm down for everything. He knows that I'll say yes no matter what. So whoever's name is on the contract, that's what we're signing.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on again. I just wanted to have a wee chat, catch up with you, see how you're getting on. You were actually my first interview earlier on in the year, so it's cool to be closing it with you again after all the interviews and all the journeys that we've kind of been on. So really appreciate you coming on, and I wish you the best festive season coming up.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a
pleasure. And we'll catch up
another
time. Take
Sounds
care, all
good.
right?
All right.